Hi, this is Jim, and I'm the New Hampshire rock guy, and we're out on another one of my mining adventures. Wow, look at this spar here. It's just falling out of the mine walls, and there's so much more to see. Let's go.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Feel all 6 sides of the tourmaline crystal. What would be west into the Connecticut River Valley and the mountains of Vermont. World-class beryl crystals, both aquamarine and golden. If you look hard enough, you'll find something it's facing. Yeah. Get ready for a fantastic journey of this incredible mine. Greetings again, it's Jim Pecora, the New Hampshire rock guy and director of the Mica Mine Schoolhouse and the newly formed this year New England Mineral Museum, set up so that we can take over all New England when I'm long dead and gone. Keep that in mind, people. Anyway, I'm here today with John Salo, and we're going to talk a little bit about his family's history, which goes back a long time here in the area, and an actual mining operation that I'd like to talk about called the Sargent mine. And we're here on Sargent Road, but the mine isn't here.
The mine is in Unity.
Unity.
Well, actually it's in Claremont, but you go through Unity and it's on the verge of looking down from the mine over toward Mount Escutney, Claremont down below, and so it's
Why are all the mines on top of hills? Do you know?
Well, maybe because I'm thinking the ice from the glacier probably cleaned the hilltops off, and so it made the mica and the beryl, feldspar, all of that was exposed.
Exposed, yeah. Because so many of them are up high.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. We have a proliferation of mines in the general area. We're right now in Marlow. There's some beautiful mines just down the street. There's a lot of mine prospects where they were just looking for rock.
Right.
And then Alsted has a lot of mines, Ackworth. We were just filming over in Ackworth. So the Sargent mine is just a little north of that geography from Unity, which is just to the east of Claremont.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know the basic, was it a feldspar mine, or they, whatever you mined, you sold whatever you could?
No, at the time that was opened up, it was just toward the beginning of World War II, about 1939.
Oh, all right, yeah, when the mineralization was occurring.
There was a demand for mica, and because of that, the German U-boats were plying the Atlantic, the North Atlantic, and so it was hard to get shipping across without having it destroyed. Right.
And a lot of our mica at that point in time was, I believe, coming from India or
well,
South
that was
America.
The problem. See, it was coming from areas that were being controlled by the German submarines.
All right.
Yeah, that's my take on it from what I've heard. And this is part of we're part of a mineral thing that runs from somewhere down in Georgia and Alabama all the way through up into northern Maine. If you could lay a rule down, you'd have it both sides of that, right up through North Carolina, right up through Connecticut, right up through in this area. And
so
right
there's mines all along that.
Mines on both sides of that line. And of course there's a line here. We're in a different zone on this side of the Connecticut as compared to Vermont and Brattleboro, which are on another more type of shale type rock, which we have over here. We have the harder mineralized rock.
Igneous ones, the ones that were formed from magma. And Vermont has a lot of the sedimentary that became marble.
Right.
Vermont has the largest underground marble mine in the world.
Oh, right.
I didn't know that. I went to the Marble Museum up in Proctor.
Did you?
A couple of weeks ago. But so anyway, so these rocks here in our area were formed by magma, and the commercially mined ones were, as you mentioned, mica, quartz, feldspar, and then eventually beryl, and we have some beautiful pieces of beryl.
All your tourmalines that you look for, your, the beryls, the montmorillonite, it was very hard material, but then it becomes kind of chalky later on. It just disintegrates.
Yep. The Mount Morillonite.
Mount Morillonite.
What did they? Do you know what elements they were after in that? Is that a lithium?
I believe it is.
Yeah.
It is a lithium, and there was a mine up there in Paris, Paris, Maine, where they got Mount Morolonite, and there was some right here. I'm just trying to think of the location. It was up in Grafton County,
Yep.
which is the next county up from us going
Right.
up, and that was also mined, and a lot of it was used in some fertilizers too.
It was a pink, I believe Mount Morolonite's a
Yeah,
pink.
pink.
So it's not, this is not a mineral that we've often talked about on
No.
the YouTubes that I've done to this date. We have one, well, right here in Marlow is the one high lithium content mine, the Turner mine.
The Turner mine?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's just over the hill. There's a crow flies from here,
It's
probably
close.
less than a mile.
Oh, wow. Oh, all right.
And then you go the other way, you go to Wynnum, which is on the other side of Route 123.
Right. And we've done a video
Yeah,
on that in the
right.
past. Yeah.
Yeah, and that also has your little, you can walk around a post that was left there in the Wynnum. Of course, there's an underground thing, but that's full of water now.
How far down did that go? Do you have any recollection?
I'm guessing somewhere probably 20, 25 feet deep.
Okay.
That was about it. They went down and then they went out under, and it was just to the left of the parking lot down there. There's a pool of water. And if you got down into it in your car, you might be. And that's the case over there near the dance hall here in Alsted. That you follow that road out by the dance hall.
Yeah.
And
The
if you
dance
go,
hall that was near the boat landing?
which is right off from 123
Yeah,
over here.
yeah, yeah. In
Yeah, you
Alsted.
go out there, and not too far out on the left, there's an intersection. The road went off to the left, and there's a pool of water there. I don't know how long that one's deep. That's probably 60 feet deep or so.
I'd like to go out someday with a rock tied on a rope with the measurements and just try and see if you could figure it out.
Oh, you probably could. Sometimes you go to those old mines where water has been in there. If you look, if it happens to be a clear day and so forth, you can even see a ladder that never got taken out. I wouldn't try the ladder. It's probably rotted away.
But the water is often a green or a turquoise, and I understand that's from the mineral content that would be in
Right.
that's coming out of the
Well, yeah, you get your potash feldspar and you got your silica spar, and of course we have them both in the mines around here. Those used in the glass industry and those used in the
ceramics and earthenware.
well,
or-
ceramic and born MI, which
Yeah,
hasn't
yep.
scratched yet. That's your potash.
Ah, that's potash. So, and from what I understand, this is great because we've not covered this material before on any of our videos. The different types of feldspars also will be ranked on the percentage of sodium or potassium. So potash would be high potassium, and then soda spar
Or
would
a
be,
soda spar or a silica spar too.
yeah,
The quartz
would,
material.
yeah. So that would be the high in sodium,
Silica.
silica.
And well, it's almost like a glass-like spar,
Yeah.
and very hard and so forth. I think probably it was ground up more for the glassware. And as I say, I was thinking, in New York State, they took a lot of it, went out to New York State where, I'm trying to think of the
Corning.
location.
Corning.
Corning,
No,
for the Corning
yeah.
glass.
Yeah, because they
They
were innovators of Pyrex and Corningware and
Right.
yeah.
No.
So back to the World War II is when the Sargent mine started, and it was producing mica. What size books might you recall, or
That's what I was looking for the other day. I was standing, this is probably 20 or 30 years ago. I was holding a book of mica. It was about 2.5 feet by maybe 1.5 feet.
how thick?
It was a book of mica. At that time, probably it was 3 or 4 inches.
That's heavy. I mean,
Yeah.
if people can't imagine how heavy a book of mica like that is, we have them at the museum, the
Right.
Mica Mine Schoolhouse and the New England Mineral Museum at Mole Hill. So we're going to interview you, John, in 3 segments, so this is about the end of our first segment.
To just finish up on one of
Yeah.
the things, out of the Ruggles mine, which is up in Grafton County, up near,
Right, yeah.
up there, the largest book of mica that came out of there was too large to lay down in the back of a pickup truck.
Wow. So that's got to be 4, 5, 6 feet.
Whatever across the body is in that small pickup, you know.
That's
and
a big
you
piece of
couldn't
mica.
put it down. Right, they did. They took a lot of feldspar, but they also took a lot of mica out of that operation.
And these sizes are world-class sizes of mica, meaning that 80% of all mica in the world could be trimmed down to only 3 by 3 or smaller. So when you're talking about something that's a couple of feet or larger, it's like less than 0.1% of all mica in the world gets that large, and we had a lot of it. It
Yeah.
was just common.
Have you ever seen one of those mica trim sheets that they have, that the people
Oh.
use in the...
The one, no,
When-
I've seen them in pictures, but the ones where they could grade them and determine the size,
Right.
yeah. I've seen them in pictures, never in
Oh,
person.
Probably one of our, I still have a few, at least one, of the trimming tables.
Yep.
But it's up in Newport, it's not here. And you could lay the book of mica down and turn it, and then the girl doing the trimming, which they used a regular linoleum knife. It was very sharp with a hook on it,
Yeah.
and a piece of wood with a, like a dowel post. And so that was on the table, held with brackets. They'd lay the mica on an angle over it, and with that linoleum knife, they'd pull it across and cut it. Just trim it right to the size. They hand trim first. They had to take the rock off the mica,
Mm-hmm.
and then you could start in on it. A lot of it came out clean. Some of it were ruled by earth motion.
Ruled would be like waves, little.
Well, or straight long edges, so you get what we call those long.
Yeah,
ribs of
I've seen
mica.
that where it just long thin piece will just
Yeah.
disconnect
Or they'll
itself.
be sometimes wide
Yeah.
if they looked out like that and they had good clear. The only problem you had in the mica industry for the electrical part was the little grains of sand that would get between the lamina
Yeah.
and go like that and create holes, and then the electricity could go through those holes. So they had to grade for that too.
Take it out.
Yeah.
That's great. I did not know that information, and that's why we're so happy to be able to make this
Well,
video
they
here.
would get to the point
We
when-
used to call that pixie dust when
Oh.
all that fell out from in
Yeah.
between.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, that stuff, and they also had a lot of vegetative matter though that would get between the layers, two little roots that
Yeah.
would get out. And
I
then-
thought that was only because it was left. I see that today, and you figure you're picking up something
Right.
that might have come out of the mine decades ago. I didn't know that, back in the day that you would have that in there as well.
Well, you had it, but not the deeper you went, of course, the less you'd have.
Right.
But if you were near the surface, so that meant that changed the quality. So a lot of that mica that could be run through, ground up, and during World War II they used the ground up mica, really fine mica, and cleaned to put in the motor oil to make it last longer in your military vehicles, because they didn't change the oil that often.
It was a tactical advantage for
Yes.
the tanks that
Yes.
that are by doing that, the American tanks could be on the road 2 to 3 or 4 times longer than
Yeah.
a German tank.
Right.
Yeah, and that was top secret. They used to call that motor mica.
Motor mica.
Yeah.
I call it very slippery stuff. If you got into a mica bin where they put a lot of the mica that was being to be cobbed up,
Yeah.
it was slippery. You could hardly stand up in it, just slide around. And
Now
it
that's
also would cut too. If you get into and pulling it
So when
apart.
you're talking about a bin that's large enough for you to be inside them, it's covered with mica,
Yeah,
and you're slipping.
It's all the parts that were before they put them through the grinders and got the powderized.
Oh.
I had a tube around here somewhere. If you put it on your arm, rub it like that, you'd turn nice and silvery.
Like the Tin Man.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we'll be back in a moment to learn more about John's knowledge and expertise on the mines and mining of southwestern New Hampshire. We appreciate your tuning in to Pecora's Mica Mine Schoolhouse. Thank you.